in this moment where we are to commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and what he has done for the African American community, for the United States as a whole, moving us forward, moving the United States forward, putting his body on the line, doing that. And he did that. And he was murdered for his efforts. But I had heard that someone said about the civil rights movement. I heard somebody say in an interview that this was the black church going out into the world, the black church. And I think that it is time in this moment that we begin to articulate and speak critically about the black church. Now, let's understand it. The black church was invented. The black church was invented out of safety. It was invented to keep African Americans safe. The Negroes in the United States safe, because white Christians was killing us, and to some degree they still are. They're killing us. They were killing us. So we had to create a safe space, and it was called the Black Church. The Black Church was invented to keep us safe. Well, it didn't keep everybody safe. It just didn't. Because black Christians want to be like white Christians, they want to show them that they too can be civilized. The black church pushed out gay black people. Let's understand that. It just did. We all know about Bayard Rustin. They just had the movie. Pushed out gay black people. So it didn't keep everybody safe. And as we can see, it didn't keep everybody safe, because Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered by someone Caucasian and Christian. Still didn't keep everybody safe. Black churches being burned down. We just had almost 10 years ago, some man go into a church and shoot 9 people dead. Didn't keep everybody safe. So we have to ask, what's the purpose? What's the point of the black church? Because of course, white people, Caucasians, Europeans, they colonized everybody. They went out into the world. They went out to Europe and colonized the world and forced the indigenous peoples, the native peoples, wherever they went, to become Christians, forced them to become Christians. Why? Because they needed those Caucasians, those Europeans there who murdered those native peoples and annihilated people and did what they did, made war on those people. They needed to keep them docile. So they forced them to be Christian. So they can be docile, so they can be easily maneuvered. The same thing they did with Europeans up there in Europe. Very same thing. So they had to keep themselves safe. They had to keep themselves safe. Now, do we actually believe, we black folks here in the United States, do we actually believe that that's not the purpose of what is called Christianity here and the invention of the black church? We have to think about that. Is it the colonization of us to keep us in line, to make them feel safe when they begin to speak about things, when they begin to speak about political things, to make them feel safe? Because of course, the only place that pushed us into was the black church. They forced us to be Christian, and they pushed us into this space and not into other spaces where you can be political and speak and say things that they need to hear, not just simply, hushed tones that we black folks speak in, but to say things they need to hear to become political. It was all pushed into the black church, pushed into that, and we're supposed to, just speak there about certain things. That was our meeting place. And of course, at times that was even looked over. The overseer was looking at that as well to keep us in our place. So keeping us safe, the black church keeping us safe, we know what safety is. We had to just harness it and keep our own selves safe. I can't even, I'm just trying to articulate safety. Black folks being safe in the United States. Because the black church it tried to do that, but it failed in certain spaces. It just failed. And we have to talk about that, of how it failed and how to make it better, how to come out of that space of Europeans and their idea of God and Jesus and things. And let's understand, Jesus came to us through absolute violence. Absolute violence. That's how Jesus was introduced to us, through violence. He gave Europeans the permission to steal our babies and to murder us, to take us from one continent and put us here and make us into slaves. Jesus gave Europeans the permission to do that shit. And we have to say that. So we have to articulate why do we go and meet Jesus every Sunday and give all praise to this deity who gave Europeans the permission to annihilate not just us, but the indigenous peoples here as well, or even in Philippines or wherever they went, in India, China, Australia, Africa, Cuba, Jamaica, Patagonia, Colombia, Wichita, and Alberta, Canada. Everywhere, all over the world, Europeans went and they brought Jesus with them and they annihilated people. Jesus, their God, giving them permission to do that. And so they went to Jesus and said to Jesus, Jesus, will you forgive me for killing those people's babies? Why, yes, my child, I'll forgive you for killing those people's babies. So I know how Jesus works. I get it. So we have to articulate what that thing meant to us, what it did to us, and why we keep going and meeting this deity who helped Europeans do what they did, who gave Europeans the permission, who gave Europeans the rationale to do what they did. This is what I'm trying to figure out when I'm beginning to talk on this channel, my YouTube channel, white people and white supremacy. Why does it continue? Why do white people continue to do that? What the hell? Why have they not figured out yet that it doesn't work? And how we keep it going, how we black folks keep it going, how we African Americans continue to do that, because we know that there's an undercurrent of white supremacy here, especially here in the United States. We know that the undercurrent, sometimes it peeks its head out and it gets bad or whatever it may be, but we kind of keep it going as well. We keep making white people, white Christians especially, feel safe after they have just murdered half the village. So I'm just trying to, so we just need to begin to speak about that. Begin to speak about the purpose of the Black church and how it failed and how we can make it better. How it can be better. So comment, begin the articulation, begin the conversation, not just say silly foolishness, but the conversation on making the Black church better, making it safe for everybody, keeping it safe for women, for gay people, our gay brothers and sisters, for the crackhead on the street, whatever it may be, and not forget them, because in that institution, it is a space to keep us safe. I'm just trying. I just need for you to comment. I need for you to speak about it and articulate it, and have conversation. Have a conversation. Not putting people down, not minimizing people, not coming back and saying, well, you was in the Black church and you came out and all this. None of that. Just talk about, articulate what that thing is and how it can be better.